Teaching kindergarten, the smART stART program is hands-on. The kids are there witnessing and participating in it. So for myself, how it works for me is that I am able to see it in action. I'm not going to a presentation listening to an artist. I'm not reading it in a book or watching a video clip. I'm watching it myself live and in person. And they say you learn by doing. So I am doing it and participating in it, which will then help me use some of those strategies on my own in the future.
Students develop from the beginning of smART stART to the end of smART stART, I think in a lot of ways. I see their risk level taking a huge arc. In the beginning, they're very tentative, not just with movement to offer, but to offer up ideas, to maybe be wrong, and we talk about taking a chance as being a wonderful thing. So I think they're more willing to come up and try things, and it's okay. They can learn from each other. So their sense of risk changes. Their vocabulary changes. I see them do make a change on how they're retelling a story. One thing I noticed is sometimes they'll use their words, but often, particularly if English is a second language, one thing we're able to see in smART stART is, oh, they have it conceptually. It might be that they don't have that vocabulary yet, but yes, they do understand beginning, middle, end, because I'll say, show me then. If you don't have the word, show me what happens in the beginning. And they'll come up and they'll stomp and groan and growl with their bodies or whatever the book is, whatever happened in the middle. So it's a great assessment tool, I think, for the teachers and for me to say, well, maybe they don't have the vocabulary, but they do understand what comes next. They could retell the story, but they're retelling it in their bodies.
So instead of like reading books, we are gonna like act out the story. So instead of reading books with their voice, we're gonna do it with their bodies.
So yeah, talk more about that. So this telling stories with your body, how does that work? How do you do it?
Well, first we practice to do the exercises with our bodies, and then we can get better at moving our bodies to tell stories.
I feel like all of my students are engaged when we're in the classroom with Karen. She has a really good way of working with them. They understand what she's talking about. She has a lot of visual aids, which helps the second language learners. But all the students are engaged when we're in the classroom. I think it touches everybody.
smART stART impacts the students' comprehension. It gives them a different hook to hang things on. The strategies that the artist is using, the students pick it up. It's at their level. It's things that they can understand and maybe are a little familiar with just based on the kindergarten skills, but they are able to use them in the future going forward. We are currently working on retelling stories with beginning, middle, and end, as so is our artist. And she uses 3 picture cues to talk about the beginning, the middle, and the end. And so we've been able to use those picture cues when the students are writing or when we're retelling stories in the class. And they use those, they've picked up on them, they pick up on the vocabulary that she uses also, and so it's really helped them increase their skills.
Karen is somebody that our teachers look forward to working with. They look forward to her coming every week for this is our 4th week, because she is adding a dimension to the curriculum, and she's working with students on things that students are held accountable to. They have to be able to retell a story. That's one of their standards. And they're also beginning the writing process, and First Then Next Finally has been started at the beginning of the year and has been utilized and used all through the year. It's a continuous standard that keeps on going. Well, this makes it firm in their mind before they go on to 1st grade. I still see First Then Next Finally in the 1st grade from the kids that participated in smART stART last year. Our teachers, I think, would agree, our kindergarten and 1st grade teachers, that the kids, they remember the experience. We've made the memory for them, and they're clinging on to what they've learned during the experience, and that's the First Then Next Finally.
Before and when we started smART stART, they always used to ask us to pick a student and just observe that student and see how they were in the beginning of smART stART and how they're at the end. And I think with that observation, I've seen my students grow tremendously. For example, those who are not interested in reading, when Mr. Davis there, he captures their attention, they're into the story, and when it's time to reenact the story, they get to play the instrument, so they're able to sequence the story even better using the instruments that Mr. Dave has.